Very excited. We caught up with Coach Rivera from the Commanders a little bit earlier today. Booster Club, you're going to love this one. Make sure you guys check this out. Let's go ahead and run that interview. All right, everybody. Very excited to bring in head coach of the Washington Commanders and the first NFL head coach I've ever interviewed, really from the jump, Ron Rivera. Coach, I appreciate you taking some time.
No, this is cool. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I want to start right off the bat. You know, different teams in the NFL are in different positions. Again, you've been through it. You played in it. You've coached at different places and at different position groups, and now head coach. When you look at where you guys are, going to get Carson Wentz with the defense you have, to me that speaks volumes about where you think you guys can be this year. What does it mean to go get a quarterback like Carson Wentz, and what is the message that sends to Commanders fans?
Well, I'd like to believe, first and foremost, it tells the guys that we are pretty confident and very comfortable where we are in terms of our roster. Mm-hmm. You know, we felt defensively we had a little fall off last year. We had some really good moments that show what we were capable of, but we didn't live up to the hype. So I think, you know, going out, getting a quarterback now that can help sustain some drives, put some points on the board is going to help our defense. But more importantly, I think it's going to take advantage of some of the positions that we have on the offensive side. We feel good about our skilled positions. We like the group of wide receivers we have. We think we have a good young group of tight ends led by Logan Thomas. We get Logan back from injury this year. We'll feel really good about that. And we like the playmakers we have at running back. We like, you know, Antonio Gibson, who rushed for 1,000 yards for us. We got a very versatile J.D. McKissick. Then we went out and drafted Brian Robinson from Alabama. So we feel, you know, we've done the basic thing you're supposed to do when you get a quarterback, and that's protect him and surround him with playmakers.
And, Coach, you know, defensively, you look at the personnel you guys have. You know, you've got a lot of heavy personalities in that room that want to do really well. You're a defensive guy yourself. You know what it's like to be a leader on that side of the ball. How is the defense? Are they getting ready to have a chip on their shoulder this year? I know they're ready to get back out there and get chopping at it. Not that they didn't have big moments, like you said, but I'm sure they want to be more consistent overall as a group.
I think that's the biggest thing is they want to be more consistent, and they do have a chip on their shoulder because they have something to prove. You know, 2 seasons ago, played very well as a defense, went out and played and I believe lived up to the expectations. Last year, I think we got away from what got us to where we were, and that was we played discipline football, and that means taking control and handling the little things. You know, I think we kind of got away from the little things, and it got us. It bit us right in the backside, mostly because we were undisciplined. They found when guys weren't in their gaps. They found when we dropped coverages. And that reflects on us in terms of coaching first and foremost. We got to demand the discipline, and when we don't see it, we got to hold them accountable.
For sure.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Something we get asked a lot about on this show are different head coaching styles. Some head coaches want to be more CEO types, delegate to their coordinators. Some head coaches want to be involved and set game plans and still call plays. What is your approach, and how forcefully do you take the reins when your team isn't performing or executing the way you would like?
Well, for the most part, I've always kind of been that CEO when it comes to who our coordinators are. You know, when I had Sean McDermott here, when I had Mike Shula for the most part, they called the offenses, they called the defense. Did I have input? Absolutely. Whenever I wanted something, I would just speak up. But for the most part, I trusted them to do their jobs. You know, one of the things that I have learned being a head coach more so than anything else is that you can delegate the authority, but you got to make sure you set the standard. If you don't tell them exactly what you want and how you want it, they're going to do it the way they know how. So again, anytime something happens or occurs, it always starts with me first and foremost, because again, you know, what you allow is what you accept. So again, I've got to make sure I set the standard.
Yep, what you allow is what you accept. I like that. Now, the game has changed a lot since you yourself played linebacker, mostly on offense, and then defense is kind of adjust after that. What aspects of the game really make you just step back and say, wow, this is new, this is different, and we have to have a solution for this?
You know, what's kind of happening throughout the league right now, and the league is always cyclical in terms of play and style of play. You know, at one time it was, you know, you had these bunch of little fast, quick wide receivers could get away from these big corners, you know, the fun bunches that everybody used to have. And then all of a sudden what happened was teams started, when defenses adjusted to offenses, then teams came back with these big offenses and they would just power it down people's throats. And now what we've seen is we've gone back to the athletic, versatile wide receivers, the quarterbacks that have the ability to get the ball out of their hands quickly and into playmakers' hands. So now as defenses, we have to adjust. We've got to be able to handle what we see right now. And that's what we're doing more so than anything else, is we're adjusting to what we're getting from the college ranks. Yeah. You know, the college ranks is kind of like the test. if you watch and see what happens with college football, you're going to see what's happening to the NFL.
No doubt. A good quote I've heard on that before is the first coach, it might have been you actually, Jake, the first coach to run the wishbone won a national championship. The last coach to take it out got fired.
That's exactly right. Well, too, it's funny. We always joke talking about the cyclicality of football. You know, you look at offenses in college football right now, 20 years from now, we may all be running the triple option.
Exactly.
I feel like the RPO is a way to move back to the triple option as we get closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's almost a circle. Coach, appreciate you coming on. Hey, I want to go back to the draft a little bit. This draft was extremely deep with wide receiver talent. What stood out to y'all and make y'all go with Jahan Dotson? And did y'all trade back in that first round knowing that he would still be on the board?
Absolutely. We trained back knowing that the group of guys that we really liked were still available, more so than anything else. We would have been happy with pretty much, whichever one of those quality receivers we got. And Jahan was one of the guys that we had up in that group. And when he was available, we jumped on it just because we like who he is as a young man. We think he's a very pro-ready guy that's going to be able to step in and help the team right away.
Yeah, I agree. Penn State, absolute star there.
Yeah, he torched Auburn.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, I'd love to get your opinion on this as well. Saw a little change in rules in the NFL. What's your opinion on the overtime rule change in the playoffs?
I get it just because when you get into the playoffs, it's a little bit different because you're talking about the quality of the team as well. I mean, you could have, the top team playing the worst team in the regular season, and it's a little different. But when you get to the playoffs and you're talking about, the top 10, 11, 12 teams in the league, that means you're playing with the top 10, 11, 12 quarterbacks.
Yep.
And to not give them an opportunity, let's say the number 6 quarterback, they win the coin toss in overtime, they score right away, and to not give the top guy an opportunity to either tie the game or win the game, that's kind of tough for us to swallow. And we heard the fans, we heard the other teams in the league, we heard the players, and realizing that we've got to create some sort of equity. That's pretty much what we've done. The thing you have to be careful about that, though, is when you start saying, well, you toss the coin. Team A gets the ball first, they go down and score. Now you give Team B a chance, and Team B goes down and score. Now it's the next team to score wins. Well, that team was Team A who won the coin toss. Mm-hmm. Well, people go, well, that's not fair. Team A won the coin toss, and they got the ball twice, and Team B only got it once. So are we going to say, well, you get the ball again?
Yeah.
So we got to be careful. We really, truly do. You got to be real careful when you start adjusting, and you got to wonder what those those unintended consequences are whenever you make a rule change.
Yeah, Coach, I want to kind of ask you this. I've thought this as well. I've coached for a while, obviously not nearly as high up and as long as you, but I always find it interesting when rules are different in the playoffs and then the regular season. I'm still trying to get over why you just don't do it in the regular season as well. Wouldn't that help you as a coach? You're not having to prepare your team now for a different scenario once you get in the playoffs, or add to that extra, Saturday walkthrough a little bit.
Well, you do that no matter what. During your walkthrough, you have your 2-minute drills, your final play, your go for it plays. You got to have it plays in your last 2-point play. You go through those scenarios and you work them no matter what. Mm-hmm. But the reason you have to, I think the rules are different, is that in the regular season, the last thing you want to do is see a game go on. I've been part of those as a player and been part of those as a coach, where we literally won a game with just a matter of 30 seconds to go after playing 5 complete quarters. And so what happens is that next week is it wears you down a little bit. And I think that was really one of the big concerns. That's why you see, the shortened overtime in the regular season, because, again, that's one of the considerations everybody took.
Definitely. And, Coach, I got a couple more for you and let you get back to work. I know you guys are grinding in there. Blaine talked about the draft with Jahan Dotson, really big pickup for you guys, giving you another playmaker on the outside. But you got Sam Howell in the 5th. If you'd have told me that you were going to get Sam Howell in the 5th, I'd have told him who struck him out and why is he playing baseball. How shocked were you guys to be able to get him there, a guy that a lot of people think can take some big steps and have a chance to make an impact down the road, and a guy to sit behind Carson Wentz that's in a good position?
Very much so. Honestly, Sam's a guy we liked a lot. We really did. The thing that I remember more so than anything else is what he did the previous season in the 2020 season. We went and we looked at De'Ami Brown, who we ended up drafting in the 3rd round in the 2021 draft. We liked De'Ami. The thing that caught our attention, though, was the quarterback. And knowing that we may be in a quarterback situation, so we studied him, we got to know who he is, then we followed what happened in 2021. And everybody said, well, he's not playing as well. Yeah, well, his supporting cast wasn't the same. His 2020 cast gave him a chance to highlight and feature what he's capable of doing. Okay, 3 of that offensive line went from college in 2020 to the NFL in 2021. 2 tight ends left, 1 ended up in the NFL. Okay, 2 running backs, both were drafted, ended up in the NFL, and he loses Diami and another wide receiver. So he lost a lot of veteran help around him. And so for the most part, he's a guy that had to play on his own to a degree. And if you think about what he accomplished, he threw for over 3,000 yards, rushed for over 1,000, and accounted for over 30 touchdowns on their offense. That's pretty doggone productive. And so to see him sitting there in the 5th round, at the top of the 5th round, and we own that pick, we said, this is a value. We got to jump on this. This is a young man that we consider and develop, and there's no pressure on him to do anything right now other than sit back, learn his craft, and become very good at it for the future.
Yeah, exactly. And Coach, I want to end it with this one. I want to bring it full circle. I started off asking you about Carson Wentz. I'm going to end it. You guys obviously wanted him. Y'all went and got him. You did not wait. We've seen the craziness of the quarterback carousel now with Baker Mayfield, some of these other guys out here. What was it about Carson Wentz that made you guys say, you know what? Like J.G. Wentworth and People's Money, we want him and we want it now.
Yes. The big reason more than anything else is you go back and look at him statistically, and the guy fits in almost every category in the top 10. Okay, and you sit there and go, wow, look at that. And then we heard his teammates. We heard what the guys in Indianapolis said about him. Okay, all the positivity that came from the players. That to us was very important, talking about how he fit in the locker room, how he led, how he worked with his teammates. I mean, that was amazing stuff. I mean, Darius Leonard talked about him. T.Y. Hilton did. Taylor, the running back, talked. All 3 guys were so positive that we felt so comfortable and confident in what we were doing. And so that was one of the things. But the thing that we look at and the thing that we point to and say, gosh, if we can get this guy back to where he's been. And I'm talking about the year he was 11-2 and hurt his knee when he was giving it his all for his team. Okay, he put it all on the line. That was impressive to us because if he doesn't get hurt, heck, who knows? He's got a chance to win the league MVP, and he's got a chance to win the Super Bowl. Now, they did win the Super Bowl, but he was hurt, and that was a tough pill for him. And if we can get the young man back to that type of quality football play, it gives us a chance to be a good football team.
Well, it's going to be exciting to watch, Coach. I know you guys are going to really be competitive in the NFC East. Hope to get in the playoffs and see what happens from there. Really excited to have you on. Would love to have you back on again. Like I said, I know you're a busy man. Congrats on all the success. Good luck on the stuff off the field as well, Coach. We're all rooting for you and excited to watch you guys this season.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for your time.
Anytime.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, if you like what you heard and you want to hear more, go on over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. Check out Crain & Company live every day from 2 to 3 Central, where you can hear us spit it straight.